can show you now, like all all these pages and everything. I like to do that personally. That works well for me. So what I would say to you, what I said, it's called measure the gain, not the gap. Naturally, we see the gap between where we are and where we want to be, or maybe where we are and where we see other people are. We see that gap. And when you focus on this, it drives you insane, makes you feel worse. And sometimes, negative emotions can be valuable and you can use them well. But in general, positive emotion is going to help you become more productive. In general, happy people are way more productive. So it's just, like, there's always the exception. I don't know if it enters your mind of like, wait, what if this is like that? The depressed millionaire type of thing, the guy who's been through so much trauma. What if like this is that thing? You can reword things in your life to make good off the bad, but you shouldn't try to purposely stay in the bad because of that. So what I mean by this is, right now it seems like you're measuring the gap between where you are and where you want to be, your potential, your where you could be right now. Maybe some of it's involved with other people, maybe it's about social media, maybe it's about the gap between where you think your family think you should be. And this will drive you insane, and this will make you act in ways that are quite chaotic and not even good for you. But instead, when we measure then the gain, we think about how far we've come, and we use that as like the guiding point for our assessment, our interpretation of the world. So we don't think about how small we are, in the gym, and oh man, like I only bench 60 kg, I need to bench 100 kg, otherwise I'm not worthy of love. We don't think about that. Instead, we think, oh yeah, when I started, I could barely even bench the bar. I started from 20, now I'm on 60. I'm strong. Look at how strong I just got so quickly. That's 40 kg in less than a year. So this is a very like mental, psychological thing. So every practical action we can take right now is going to be based on that, but in general, it's just about like thinking the right things. What I'll tell you from my experience is that you'll go through a bunch of moments where you'll automatically measure the gap, and it'll take you hours to suddenly rechange your mind to measure the gain. When that happens, don't be upset. If you ever measure the gain, it's positive. Even if you've just been coping for like 2 hours afterwards, I found that like the more you keep this in your mind and the more you live like this, like the less time it takes to reform your thoughts. But naturally, you are still going to be measuring the gain for the gap for a little while. You're still going to be looking at how you're inadequate instead of how the progress you've made for a little while. And maybe you'll cope for like 2-3 hours, and then you'll get the thought, oh yeah, the gain, not the gap. So I made progress. So that's just one mindset to keep in mind. And I like to personally use my environment for this. I like to surround myself, like just control my environment to kind of remind me of things that I think is important. Like you can't see. Oh, actually, I can show you now. Like all these pages and everything. I like to do that personally. That works well for me. So what I would say to you, what I said to some people who were asking the same question. Let's say with your physique, you've been going to the gym, you made some progress. Set a picture of you when you first went to the gym or before you went to the gym as your phone lock screen. Print that picture out and stick it up on your mirror. See it every single day. Instead of seeing like how small you are right now because you're not at the 100 kg bench, or you're not as big as that bodybuilder that you want to be, see where you started from. And now you're just seeing like the positive self-image. I've become so much bigger. I used to be small, but I'm not small anymore. Look at me. I'm thick now. It's so much healthier. I'd take pictures if you want to go like full like psychopathic mode. I'd print off like 10 shirtless pictures if you can find any from like before you went to the gym and stick them around. Maybe your bank balance. Maybe like just a photo of you will be good enough. Like even a selfie of you from like 2 years ago. Especially if you can think about it like at a time when you weren't doing so well in life, at a time when the door was just 24/7 open up that much, because it'll remind you. You'll see a picture of yourself from high school or something. It'll remind you of like, yeah, you literally used to fap every single day. You used to eat junk food. You used to do this and this and this. It makes you okay with realizing if the door was open this much 24/7, maybe we should be okay with the door being open this much 24/7, because that's an amazing improvement. Not being okay with this little gap is what makes it open like this chaotically. But if you can just be okay with this and realize that this is how much the door deserves to be open right now, this is what you deserve. Because you're still relatively new onto self-improvement. 1 year is like not that much. It's still barely like what, 6-7% of your life. So if you're okay with this, that's when you'll keep making that upward progress and it'll close more and more and more. And when it gets to about here, that's when you're living the ideal life.